Howdy folks, today we're going to talk about the Plunge Unity. These are IEMs out of Canada. I wanted to say thanks to the Canucks audiophile group for sending me these. They heard me talking shit, mostly talking about how I EQ'd a headphone to these, the D13, and they really wanted me to hear the actual IEMs, which I appreciate. The reason I never bought these is because they're $900. And a guy named Nature Dad Johnny in my chat room has been fucking with me for a couple years about Plunge, and then these ones for like 6 months. So fuck you right away, Johnny. And so I just got these in about an hour ago. A couple things to note. They have MMCX. The print, I should say the shell, is a 3D printed, I think it's nylon rather than resin, with like kind of a skin texture to it. Really like it. It's very, very nice. And the profile and the way that the shell is shaped and such is fucking amazing. Chi-Fi, take some notes. This is how you do it, man. So, from reading their webpage, Plunge is making this shell in this way so that as a musician or a studio person, you can use these like you might use a custom IEM. And so it's a little bit different in terms of the profile and how it goes in your ears. Clearly, you can use your own tips. And also, fuck you guys for telling me to get special tips for these. You don't need special tips. You guys are full of shit. Absolutely insane. I have thousands of tips. I can find stuff that works. Anyways, 4 balanced armatures in these headphones. And they are $900, which is why I never bought them. Very expensive, but after EQing the D13 to the graph that Tone Deaf Monk put on his squig, I realized that, in fact, this is an amazing tuning. Actually amazing. So, you know, thanks a lot, Canuck guys, for sending me these plunges to try. Let's go ahead and pull up the webpage for the Unities, the Plunge Unity. That is right about here. So they are $900. They have a very nice supple silver cable. Here, let me just go back to their sort of, that guy right there. Yeah, so, you know, clearly these are made for musicians. If you're a live sound person or if you're in the studio, these are going to kill it. They sound extremely similar to a studio setup, studio monitors. Very, very natural, accurate sound, and this is right up my wheelhouse. In fact, you know, after, trying these just for the last hour, this is exactly the kind of thing that I would want to tune myself. And I'm not saying I could, I'm just saying I would want to. So a lot of the stuff I've been tuning recently is very, very similar in terms of how it hits my brain to this. Not exactly. These are better than most of the things I've done, but I just wanted to mention that this is exactly what I want to see out of an IEM. And, you know, in terms of the profile and the build of this thing, honestly, Chi-Fi, take some notes, man. You guys are fucking off the rails. This is how you do it, completely. This is a perfect fitting IEM. It seals, it fits in my ear comfortably, it feels like nothing at all. It doesn't poke, it's just fucking perfect, actually. So, also, look in our bore here, right? You can see like one little balanced armature off to the right here. I mean, I think that's the sort of the the tip of the balanced armature, and then there's like another one here, but there's 4 balanced armatures in the shell, apparently. It's also a sealed shell. And like, that's what all my buddies were telling me. Oh my God, you're going to get pressure buildup and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, I'm not. I know how to use headphones. Jesus fucking Christ. I do high altitude hiking all the time. And I got sealed headphones. I know how to do that. Just fucking Jesus. Like, so anyways, they are sealed, but I don't think you're going to find it to be a problem. Also, on the notes on Plunge's website, these guys have like a 28 decibel noise reduction. So if you're on stage or you have a lot of noise around you, these are going to block out a shitload of that. That's why they're not vented. And so they're appropriate for live sound use, right? Or studio use. Let me just flip over to their little stuff here. 28 decibels of attenuation. $900, never bought them. So, and that's why I was EQing the D13s to see if I could figure out how these sounded, and I really, really liked that EQ. So I didn't really expect these to have any problems at all, and in fact, these sound better than the D13. Just to mention why I think that might happen is because I think that balanced armatures do a better job in certain frequencies that dynamic drivers just can't do, generally the uppers. But these do have balanced armatures for bass. And, you know, the thing is, I've heard a hell of a lot of balanced armature bass IEMs. And this is going to be about the best I've ever heard. And I'm not just talking about like the most sound pressure level, not the most slam, none of that. It is the best bass I've heard out of a balanced armature. It's perfectly textured, has a perfect amount of resonance. It is extremely wide left to right. And if you told somebody, or let's say you didn't tell somebody that these were balanced armatures, they would not know at all that that's what was making the bass. I'm confident of that. There's just no way that anyone ever know. So they don't have a balanced armature, quote unquote, timbre, none of that. Not in the bass, not in the treble, not nothing. It's just amazing. So I did graph these. Let me go flip over to the graph. And that's the graph. And so we can see that we have an extremely flat bass to mid shelf. What is that like? Yeah, it's less than 1 decibel change from 20 hertz all the way to, I don't know, we'll just say 900 or something. That's flat as shit. Also, my 711 rig is calibrated and has no bass roll-off, whereas some other ones do. So we can see here that the Plunge Unity has absolutely no bass roll-off. And so that's 20 hertz. If we go all the way down, 10 hertz, we're not rolling off. This has all the subs, all the air, all of everything you'd ever want out of anything. It's fucking flawless victory there. Other things to note, we have a little bit of early pinna gain right at 1.8-ish K. And if we look at the amount of decibels, we have 4.5 decibels. And if we go to this little other peak, which is at about 2.8 K, we are at, from the mid-range, 3.8 decibels, extremely flat. And then we have some forgiveness at about 5K-ish. And, you know, in general, people are going to look at this graph and go like, just what the fuck? Which is exactly what I did for like 6 months. Just what the fuck? I got no words. Just moving on here, we have some treble. One thing is, I tried to align this to the 8K peak. I tried them like 10 times. I can't do it. There's something acoustically going on in the shell here that removes the 8K peak. So that's cool. And then we have this like stabby peak up here right at about 16.5K. 711s are not accurate, but that's clearly got energy there. It's just interesting. I don't know. Maybe give you a little air up, way up there. So, yeah, interesting stuff. And although I've only had these for an hour, I can say a few things about them. And the first thing is, if you got $900 to spare, get your ass on Plunge's webpage and buy these right fucking now. They're absolutely amazing. They, like, I'm just going to talk to Simon and see if I can get a little deal out of him. Maybe not, but I'm gonna need to own these at some point for sure. And then EQing the D13 probably get me about, I don't know, maybe 90% there. That last 10% is worth it. So, you know, there's that. Just to mention, MMCX I'm not going to unplug this because it freaks me out a little bit. But whatever. So we talked a little bit about the graph. We talked a little bit about the headphones, the fit, the finish. Absolutely incredible stuff, to be honest. And so then let's just talk about some music genres. And I tried, basically, I've only had an hour here, right? So in general, I find some rough spots and some problems. I need to flesh that out a little bit. In this case, the answer is, yeah, there's no fleshing out. These work for every type of music that you have. And you might be like, well, that's not a lot of bass, right? I don't know, I like hip hop, let's say, or I like EDM. No, these fucking kill it. Absolutely kill it. No problems, because the pinna is so low. I don't even want to call it pinna, ear gain, whatever. So low. The bass itself is full-bodied, textured, separated. It's incredible bass for a balanced armature. And again, you wouldn't even know it was a balanced armature. I'm 100% confident of that, so it doesn't matter. All the genres I tried: blues, classical, disco, electronica, jazz, metal, R&B, reggae, rock, soundtracks, vaporwave, vintage and lounge. Just flipping around, everything was absolutely fucking amazing. Also, to mention, these scale in volume perfectly. You can turn them up as loud as you could possibly take anything, and there's not going to be any peaks or anything that like stabs you. It's best way I could put it is these have like nearly infinite volume scaling. I mean, until you blow your eardrums right out your ass, but it's as good as it gets. And so we end up with a full-on awesome fucking wreck. I mean, I probably should have bought these earlier, but $900 is just not something I'm willing to blast money on, to be honest with you. So these have the highest rec the short bus can give. They have an amazing tuning. It's very studio accurate, but also extremely musical. The staging is fucking amazing. If you don't hear it, you don't hear it. I don't know what to tell you. It is 3D. It wraps around the head. It's very wide, very deep, although less deep than a lot of headphones with bombastic bass, but I find it to be a very natural depth to the sound. So like, in front of you or behind you or, some distance in front of you, whatever, you can flesh that out really, really easily with these. So I don't know what else there is to say. I could probably get a little bit more into depth. I'll probably come up with some stuff in my mind that really needs talking about, but so far, 10 out of 10, man. For fucking reals. This is one of the best fitting, most comfortable. No, it is the best fitting, most comfortable IEM I've ever tried. Point blank. It's as if I had a custom, but it's not. It's a universal. And I think that's kind of why the shell is sort of shaped like this. I'm kind of looking at the profile here so that people can tell, Chi-Fi, get a fucking clue, guys. This is how you do it. This is the real way to do it. Perfect fit for me, with Western ears, I suppose. And again, there's no music this can't play, so this gets the highest recommendation from the short bus. And it's expensive, so I don't expect people to run out and get it, but tell Simon from Plunge that the short bus sent you, and I don't know, maybe he'll get a big laugh out of that. Right on, and I'll talk to you on another review on this pretty soon.